Hi, I'm Mark,
And I'm Celeste.
and we're here to make some blueberry pancakes today. I'm going to use 1 cup of whole wheat flour because it's higher in fiber. It's better for you. And 3/4 cup of white flour, and you can use 1 3/4 cups of white flour.
And why are we scooping it with a spoon instead of just putting our measuring cup in the flour?
When you scoop it with a spoon like this, you're not packing it in. When you use a scoop and just scoop into the flour, it's sort of compacting the flour in there. And can I have some white flour from you?
Yeah. Put it in the middle of us.
Also, when you're measuring, I need 3/4 cup of flour, but I don't like using this one and going to the 3/4 mark because it's not as accurate. And you can't level it off very well.
Okay, I see.
So I'm going to do this 3 times. All right?
Yeah. Got everything in there?
Good. So the next ingredient is sugar. That's that bowl right there. And we need 2 tablespoons of sugar.
Okay.
Not too much sugar because we're going to put pancake syrup on them later on. Anyway, so we don't really need them very sweet.
Don't want them too sweet. Okay.
And again, level it off. Make sure that you're measuring accurately. Now, we need 4 teaspoons of baking powder.
And what's the baking powder going to do?
The baking powder is going to make them rise up. It's a leavening agent.
Okay.
So, 4 teaspoons baking
4
powder.
teaspoons.
Measure accurately again.
Okay.
So these are all the dry ingredients we need. Actually, we need just a little bit of salt. I think it says 1/4 teaspoon, but you could even use a little bit less. You just need a little bit of salt to sort of get the ingredients kind of working, kind of the flavors coming out of all the ingredients.
Okay.
But not enough to make it salty. I'm not trying to make it salty, just to wake up the flavors. Okay, so we've got all our dry ingredients.
Okay.
It's a good thing to whisk them together a little bit.
Okay. Why are we mixing it instead of just put it in the liquids in there?
Well, mix the dry ingredients together first so that the baking powder goes through all the flour, so it's really well mixed in.
Okay.
All right. And also, while you're there, you can make a little bit of a well in it. Just kind of push the flour up to the sort of the sides of the bowl there, because we're going to dump the wet ingredients into that later.
Okay.
And we need 1 1/2 cups of milk.
I got some milk right here. There you go.
All right. Bananas.
Yeah. And
So-
we could add fruit and stuff to this too, right? Like bananas or anything like that?
Sure, if you want to add a banana to your pancake mix, this is great. But mash it in right now. So
Okay.
you're going to do one?
Yeah.
I'm going to measure 1 1/2 cups of milk.
Okay.
So make sure you're down at eye level, pouring at eye level, and come right to the 12-ounce or 1 1/2 cups.
And why are we doing it? Why are we getting down low to see that?
Because if you look from up here, it's different. You're not getting the right
Oh yeah,
measurement.
it looks like you still
Perspective
need...
changes.
Okay. And should I use 1 or 2 bananas?
Just
in here?
1 is good. It's going to be lots of flavor.
Fine? Okay. And just mash it with like
Right. Use that to mash
pastry
it up.
cutter?
Pastry blender. You could use a fork if you want.
Okay.
As long as you try to get it mashed up. And you can have little chunks in there. That's okay as well. All right, now measure your milk in there.
And you said 1 1/2 cup?
1 1/2 cups of milk. So now we need eggs. And what I like to do with the eggs, we're going to need 3 eggs, but I like to split them up.
Okay.
I like to put the yolks in here into the wet and the whites into another bowl because I like to beat the eggs up and make them nice and light and fluffy.
What's that going to do for the pancakes?
Helps add, give you a nice fluffy pancake. Now you could use, just crack your eggs. If you're going to not whip the egg whites, just crack your eggs into the liquid bowl.
Okay.
You
And it'll do the same thing?
Yeah. So to crack an egg on the table, right? Give it a good crack. The white's going to go in this bowl, so I'm going to hold it up like this and pull the top off and let the white flow down.
Okay. And we want to... What happens if we break the yolk and stuff like that?
If your yolk breaks, put it in there right away. You don't want any egg yolk in the whites. Check for shells or blood in the egg as well.
Okay. And why? And we're cracking it on the table. What for? instead of just cracking it on the rim of the bowl.
Cracking it on the rim of the bowl, there's a better chance of shells going in. If you break the egg on the rim here, it's a better chance of shells going into the bowl.
I'm just gonna go wash my hands.
Yeah. Okay, so we've got the wet ingredients. We got one more wet ingredient, and that is oil.
Oil?
Yeah, canola oil, vegetable oil, that kind of thing. We need 1/3 of a cup.
1/3?
Yep, 1/3.
Wow. Now what's the oil gonna do for the pancakes?
The oil is going to add some fat and flavor.
Okay.
So again, you got to get down, make sure that you're measuring properly to the 1/3 mark.
1/3, okay.
All right, and don't use the dry measuring cup because that's not as accurate as the wet measuring cup.
Okay. There you go.
Got it?
Yeah. And I really like vanilla. Would I be able to add vanilla to this
sure.
recipe as well?
I would add a teaspoon of vanilla then at this time.
A teaspoon?
Right in with
Okay.
your wet ingredients.
There you go.
All right, good. Now we've whisked the dry ingredients. Let's whisk the wet ones. Make sure that the egg yolks are broken up. And for you, that the banana's mashed in there. All right, so they're ready to go. If you're using the whole eggs in your wet, you could do it right now. You could add them in, but because we've got the egg whites on the side, we're going to whip the egg whites.
Okay.
Ready?
And if I don't have a mixer, I can just use a whisk. It'll just take longer.
It'll take a lot longer.
Okay.
Okay, you ready?
Yeah.
Go. Mine's ready.
How fluffy are we supposed to get
There you
them?
go. That's
Is that
fine.
good?
Right
Starts like stiff like that?
Right, yeah.
And you get that little loop on there?
If you beat it more than that, then the egg whites have a tendency to break up, and then you lose the whole point of whipping them in the first place. The egg whites, once you've got these whipped up, you have to move quickly.
Why is that?
Because they'll deflate as you whip.
And you don't want that.
That's right. Pour the liquid into the dry.
There you go.
Okay, now you can mix this. Just mix it until everything comes together.
Okay.
You don't see any dry bits of flour in there. And you don't have to use the hand mixer because that would actually mix too much. You don't want to overmix this one.
Okay. Just want to keep it nice and fluffy.
The last step here is we're going to fold in the egg whites.
What's folding do?
Folding, because we've got this nice fluffy egg white here, we want to keep all the air that's in there.
Okay.
Now, so when you fold, you go under and over, and then you can draw it through it as well.
Just like this?
Yeah, under and over.
And what does
the
that
batter
do?
on top. What we're trying to do is mix the egg whites in there without breaking them up too much. Without breaking, trying to keep all those little air bubbles in. Scrape the side of your bowl as well.
Okay.
So that you get all the unmixed ingredients in there as well. Okay, this is good for me because it's all mixed in. I can see a little bit, but that's not bad. It's good.
Is mine
and
good?
Yours is good too. Yeah, that's really good.
Yeah, it looks really fluffy.
Okay, so we are ready to cook these.
Okay.
We need a big griddle. You could do this in a fry pan, but I find this big griddle works really well.
Okay.
Because it's nice, even heat, and they don't get as greasy as in a frying pan.
I'll just make some room so we can put it on the counter.
Yeah. So I'm going to put 1 cup of blueberries in, and I'm putting them right at the end so they don't all mash together. And that's especially important if you're using frozen blueberries because the frozen blueberries tend to release all their juices. So right at the very end, and just mix them in until they're just mixed in. We're going to plug this griddle in to... I turn it up to 350.
Okay.
1 cup of blueberries. You could use other fruit too. You could grate an apple into this. That would work really well. And maybe put some cinnamon in there. You could also use canned peaches as long as you drain them off really well. No juice.
Okay.
Okay, 1 cup of blueberries. And I'm just going to fold that in a little bit. All right, this has got to heat up. You can feel it. And we're going to spray it down with this stuff here.
And what's that?
This is just a spray coating.
Okay, so just a non-stick spray?
Non-stick spray, and it has a little less calories than if you were going to use butter or margarine.
Okay.
Or oil. When I do this, I usually use a 1/3 measuring cup.
Okay.
Because if we do it with this one, we should get 6 nice pancakes on this griddle, on this size of griddle. And start off at one end and go to the other. So
just
one in the corner.
Pour it on, okay.
Yeah, just pour it on and let it kind of
spread out by
smooth
itself?
out by itself, yeah.
Okay.
Okay,
You don't want
one in the middle.
And you don't want to squish them down?
That's right.
Okay.
You're looking for air bubbles coming up, and you can see a few of them.
Oh, so like just the little poppings around
Right,
here?
there's one popping there. There they are. But it's got to cook a little bit more.
Okay. Same principle?
Okay, now I'm just gonna check on the underside of it, and it's looking really good. It's nice and golden brown. When it's time to flip them over, you can see the holes are sort of staying open a little bit.
Okay.
Okay. So I'm gonna flip mine. And just get right under the pancake, up and over,
Okay.
and there you go. Look at how when we flip them over, they started to rise up again.
Yeah.
So that's the egg white and the baking powder still working to make them nice and light and fluffy.
Okay.
Now, we're going to cook them on this side about the same amount of time that it cooked on that side. So it was about 3 minutes.
Okay.
So we get another 3 minutes of cooking.
So in total about 5-6 minutes?
Yeah, per set of pancakes. Just need to let them cook. Okay, I think these are ready.
Okay, I'll get us some plates.
And if you're unsure of, if they're cooked or not, cut one open and see.
Okay.
All right. So I'm gonna have all my blueberries here.
Okay.
3 great looking pancakes.
Okay. Just a little bit on there.
All right. So let's see how they taste.
Cheers. Mm.